So, I wanted to give my thoughts on England. Last night they lost 2-1. They were 1-0 in the lead and just didn't happen. Because I don't just think it's a tactical thing from last night. You know, we will talk about, and I will talk about, the tactical decisions Thomas Tuchel made and why I disagree with him. But I think there is also deeper factors at play when it comes to England in any major competition since 1966, at least since the 1990s. Because on the face of it, it makes a lot of sense that England fans go in with expectations of being able to win every tournament. Since at least the 2010s, if not earlier, England has had the strongest league in the world. The Premier League is the best league in the world with some of the best players in the world. It's had multiple Champions League winners, Man United, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. That's just in the past 2 decades. Not going on further as well, teams like Nottingham Forest. But when it comes to World Cups and Euros, I think that the expectation to compete and to win is overwhelming to the point of suffocation. What's that song, 30 Years of Hurt, written in the 90s, was it? That's now, 50 years of hurt, 60 years of hurt? And as a player, you are hearing that, and that is not comforting to you. That is added weight on your shoulders in what was already an extremely tough competition. And it's not a rallying cry. It's not hopeful. It's demanding. We will reverse this. We will win it this year. We will reverse the years of hurt. And that, as a player, I imagine would just absolutely crush you physically, metaphorically, emotionally, because the expectations of the country are placed upon you in a way that potentially isn't seen in other countries. And I think as well, England do have mentality issues when it comes to World Cups, when it comes to... And that's part of it, because for so long, they have demanded they win, and every time they haven't, for whatever reason. Penalties or goals not being given. Remember Frank Lampard's one, for example. And I think that needs to change, potentially, if they're actually going to ever get it over the line. I'm not saying get rid of the song. I think it is actually quite a catchy song, even as an Irishman, but it's that level of pressure. It gets in your head. It does. It really, really will. I think as well as, yes, England has the strongest league in the world. But what we're actually seeing sometimes is the English Premier League isn't actually necessarily as strong as developing youth players as others across the world. I mean, you look at La Masia for Barcelona, which produced, name it, Iniesta, Xavi, Messi, Fabregas, David Villa, all for Spain. You got ones in England, like Cobham, for example, for Chelsea, Tammy Abrahams, Mason Mount, Reece James, Gallagher. Not many of those are playing right now. But secondly of all, yes, there is that idea. In English football, you have to register 8 players at least who are trained in England, I believe. That's the Champions League. 8 players who are trained in England, 4 those have to be trained at your club. But a lot of the time what we're seeing is the star players of a lot of the big teams still aren't English. You have Mo Salah at Liverpool, for example. At Manchester City, you have Kevin De Bruyne at Belgium. You have Haaland, the Norwegian. Chelsea won a few teams where Cole Palmer, English, but he didn't actually even go to the World Cup. So, yes, it's the strongest league in the world, but because it's the strongest league in the world, they're able to scoop up all the international talent, which has a detriment on English talent. In terms of tactical stuff, yeah, you absolutely need to talk about it. England, it was a brilliant match, cinema-wise. Fantastic watch. Really bad match of football itself. It was low quality, lots of fouls, being broken up constantly. But England kept themselves in it. Not a lot of chances made for either side, and then they took that chance they got. 1-0 up, I think it was the 60th minute. Brilliant. And then they took a foot off the pedal and they went and sat defensively. Well, that's what they did against Mexico, and it worked against Mexico, and everybody was praising it. You know, we sort of memes about Dan Burn and everything, you know, the wee one where he's heading every bloody ball. When it works, you are a genius. When it doesn't work, you are an idiot for inviting pressure. And that's what happened to England. The difference is Mexico are a good squad, had a great record at the Azteca. Mexico didn't have Lionel Messi, who at 39 is still one of the best players in the world at unlocking defences. Like, it's ridiculous. They sat back, they went to a 5-4-1 with very little pace up front. No out ball, there was nobody able to receive the ball under pressure and try and drive forward with a bit of pace over the top. Yet Harry Kane dropping deep as well. You needed somebody like potentially Saka, Madueke, Morgan Rogers, Gordon, who was staying high and going for those balls. Remember Barcelona versus Chelsea, what was it, 2011, 2012, where Torres is right out on the far line, they're defending with all their men, but a simple floated ball over to Torres, he's through on goals. England didn't have that. They invited pressure, they sat back, and with players like Lionel Messi, it wasn't guaranteed, but it wasn't smart either. And I think we are quick to judge, and it is easy to judge. Would you have done that? I tweeted about it yesterday. If I was in the same position in a World Cup semi-final, would I not be tempted to play defensive? Go for that 1-0 win? And the answer is, I would be tempted. Absolutely. So, it's not an easy decision to make. Because what happens if you decide to stay in the same formation, you stay open to attacking plenty, and you concede on the counter? Then you're going to have people saying, well, why didn't you make defensive sub? Why did you bring on Dan Burn? Why didn't you bring on this person or that person? Shot up shot. It's easy to judge. But I do disagree with the idea. I think England should have kept up the pressure at least a little bit. And I think what you saw as well is Harry Kane actually didn't have a good game. But he is a talisman, you have to allow that. I think I'd honestly keep Thomas Tuchel, to be perfectly honest with you. I think he is a good manager. I do think there is a team that England can live with and can win with, because not many of those players will be at the next World Cup. I think you're looking at Harry Kane, John Stones, it's a major to Jordan Henderson, but I mean, I'm not sure what he really did apart from getting injured, so it's tricky. It is not an easy thing to win a World Cup. I'm not sure how many teams have won the World Cup, but it's not a big list, is it? England are in a position where they should be winning it. I just think that expectation has to be relieved. I think that expectation has to be removed or reduced. Because I think it's clear that in the past couple of World Cups and Euros, it hasn't necessarily been the quality on the pitch. It's been the mentality, it's been the psychological battle within the players themselves. Gareth Southgate did a lot of amazing stuff. He drew the team close together. He got rid of that angst that early England teams had in the 2000s and 2010s, where they just could not gel. But now they need to develop into a team with a bit more confidence. And Tuchel was brought in to partly do that. But at the same time, the formation Tuchel won the Champions League with was a 5 at the back. When it works, you're a genius, and he was labelled as so for beating Manchester City that day 1-0. But when it doesn't work, you're an idiot. So I don't blame him, but I don't think he should have done it. But yeah, that's about it. Like, come on. Argentina wasn't even, you can't even say it was rigged. I don't really remember any referee decisions that I thought. I think a few more cards could have been given out, to be fair. But I think if you give out one card, you're giving out 10 at that point, do you know what I mean? Especially that first half. And it did calm a little bit. But Argentina showing why they've made so many finals and semi-finals in the past 6 World Cups, because when they're on it, dead on it, and they have that mentality that England didn't have. They were a goal down, just as they were against Egypt, and they went for it. And they did it. And I don't think there should be any shame in saying that Argentina were a better team in that second half. It's frustrating, but there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.